Hi guys, I'm Bradley. Recently I got kicked out of the house by my own mom because I kissed my stepsister. When I was 17, my mom's boyfriend Cody moved in with us, along with his daughter Cassidy. She was a nice girl who was my age, and it was kinda cool to have a sister. I can't deny that she was really attractive. To the point that all of my friends were dying to get acquainted with her, but for me, it was kinda weird to have a crush on my almost stepsister. Besides, there was another girl, Jess, that I really liked, and I'd only just begun winning her attention, so I definitely didn't want to screw anything up. But after a couple of weeks of living together, I began noticing that Cassidy was behaving as if she were trying to seduce me or something. You know, all those playful looks and gestures and stuff like that. And also, she was sort of trying to use any excuse to come into my room whenever I was alone in there. Let's say I'd be playing my Nintendo Switch, and she'd just come in and sit a little bit too close to me and just watch me play. Well, you could probably try to convince me that she was just showing her sisterly love, but wait until I tell you about my 18th birthday. Everything started right after Mom and Cody wished me a happy birthday and set out on their little trip out of town to leave the whole house at my disposal. Cassidy began preparing herself for the upcoming party, and for some strange reason, she thought that I had to help her choose the perfect outfit. She got me into her room, and, acting like a model on the runway, she started showing me her short skirts and sexy blouses. Then she began dancing so that, as she put it, I could have a better look at her. I don't know, maybe it happened because of my birthday mood, or maybe Cassidy just looked really attractive, but she suddenly came close to me and kissed me on my lips, and I sort of kissed her back. Our kiss lasted for less than a minute when I finally came to my senses. Of course, I immediately apologized and rushed out of Cassidy's room, but even before I had time to close the door behind me, I heard her screaming, "Happy birthday!" at me. For the rest of the day, I tried to get the thoughts about that out of my head. I couldn't believe that this had actually happened for real. And while I was making a few final arrangements for the upcoming party, I tried to avoid Cassidy however I could. Like, as soon as she appeared in the kitchen, I pretended that somebody had just called me on my cell phone and went to another room. And if she followed me, I would change my location again. I bet if someone saw us back then, they would die of laughter from this little chase that was going on. When the guests finally arrived and crowded the house, I could finally breathe easy again. There were so many people there that I completely forgot about the incident with Cassidy. But what's even more important is that Jess was there. I went up to greet her and we started talking. And then we decided to dance a little bit. And then she suggested that we go find a quiet place. I won't tell you everything in detail right now, but I will say that that day was definitely full of us making out. And after that, Jess and I began officially dating, so to speak. It's clear that I didn't announce that I had a girlfriend at home. I mean, I thought it was none of anybody's business. But now I realize that I should have done it back then to avoid a lot of trouble. I was busy exchanging romantic texts with Jess, and at the same time noticed that Cassidy was continuing to flirt with me, but sort of much more persistently. Apparently, after that kiss of ours, she decided that we could start something romantic between us. For example, once we were eating together in the kitchen, and she suddenly said that she really wanted to get a tattoo, and she started asking my opinion about different parts of her body, like where it would be better to put it. And when I said I thought that she'd better not tarnish her beautiful body with any tattoos, she said that I was sweet for giving her a compliment and kissed me on my cheek. The other day, she walked into my room saying that she needed to show me something, and she turned her back to me and lifted her hair up with her hands. It turned out that she did get a tattoo on the back of her neck. At the same time, she asked me to apply a special ointment on it. It's not that I wanted to do it, but she begged me and said that I was the only one who could help her, so I kinda had to. And once again, I got a kiss on my cheek from my kind assistants. But once, she really crossed the line big time. I heard her calling me from her bedroom to come up and help her. It turned out that she had gotten into the shower and happened to be out of shampoo, so she asked me to bring her another one from storage. Seriously? Of course, I refused to do that, and that kind of made Cassidy mad at me. So, a couple of minutes later, I saw her walking down the stairs wrapped in a towel in search of that damn shampoo. I immediately put my hand on my face to close my eyes because I felt really awkward. I asked her to cover up, but she said that it was my fault since I was too shy to help her with the shampoo. I asked her directly why she acted like that with me, and to my surprise, she said that she wanted to be with me and that after our kiss, she was sure that I liked her back. She left me no choice but to say that our kiss was a mistake and that I already had a girlfriend. At first, she didn't believe me, so I had to show her a photo of Jess and I on my cell phone. The next second, Cassidy literally changed her face, and her playful expression gave way to an angry grimace. She got hysterical, accused me of cheating, and said that I would regret it. I got scared, but not of her revenge or anything. I was worried. I thought that she probably had a mental disorder, and it's kind of scary to live under the same roof with a lunatic. Here's a free tip for you. Never underestimate a girl in a fit of jealousy. Later that day, when our parents got back home and we were all together sitting at the dining table, Cody asked Cassidy and I how our day was, and she suddenly burst into tears. Of course, everybody was concerned and tried to calm her down, and I rushed to get her a glass of water when suddenly, between sobs, she said that I had been torturing her by watching her, in a creepy way, for a long time, and that I even came into her bathroom while she was in the shower. A deathly silence fell over the dining room. The glass of water, which I never had time to give to Cassidy, fell out of my hands and broke to pieces. I looked her straight in the eyes, and I could swear that I saw a reflection of revenge in them. I guess that's what she had in mind when she said that I would regret having a girlfriend. Cassidy kept crying and told them that I, presumably, hinted to her that I liked her, and that on my birthday I even demanded that she give me a kiss. I tried to explain that everything was the opposite. I mean, you guys know the truth. But obviously back then, a crying girl was in a more trustworthy position than me. Cody rushed at me with his fists clenched. He was yelling at me, and I tried to yell back at him, denying everything. Cassidy had become so comfortable in her new role that she started sobbing loudly, and my mom immediately stood up to calm Cody down. I think that, just like me, she was afraid that he was going to hurt me badly. She looked at me, with hope in her eyes, and asked me one question. Did I ever kiss Cassidy? I didn't want to lie to anybody, so I had to admit that we had kissed each other. But it was not because I was looking for it. But my truth didn't help anybody. Mom sighed in despair and kicked me out of the kitchen. I knew that I had to leave the house for now, at least for a couple of hours, to give everyone time to calm down. I had my cell phone with me, and I saw that Jess was texting me something nice and romantic. I thought that it would be better to talk to her than to go mull over the situation I was in again and again. So I walked to the nearest park, sat on a bench, and called Jess, and we talked for about an hour. Her voice was soft and calming, and that made me feel like everything was going to be all right. Of course, I didn't tell her what had just happened at my house. Then I received a text from my mom saying that I needed to get back home. And the closer I got to the house, the more nervous I was. I think all of you can understand what I felt. When I grabbed a hold of the doorknob, I realized that my hands were cold and wet from sweat. That's how nervous I was. Only God knew what else Cassidy might have invented to defame me. It was silent inside the house, and my mom was the only one downstairs waiting for me. I understood that she had been crying, judging from her face, and that made me feel terrible. But I felt even worse when I heard that she and Cody had decided that it would be better if I moved out and stayed at my grandparents'. I tried to explain to my mom that Cassidy was lying to them and that it was extremely offensive that she didn't even want to discuss anything. It was outrageous. I decided that if my mom didn't believe me or want me around, then I'd better start my own grown-up life. So the next day, I moved to my grandparents', but I only stayed there for a couple of days. I found a job and rented an apartment with 2 other guys. You're probably wondering how Cassidy's doing. Well, she called me once to say that she was sorry for what she did, and she even suggested that if I promised to be with her, she'd find a way to bring me back to the family. Can you believe this? After that, I just blocked her number. That's it for my story. Be careful with girls, fellas. Tell me something in the comments, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up for this video.